Aloha kako, what is up everyone? Welcome to my channel if you're new here, or welcome back if you've already subscribed. My name is Hoku and I'm here for another Mindful Mirror Talk, which is just a time that I get to designate to myself to connect with self and spirit for another truth session in essence. So mahalo again for joining me, taking time out of your busy day or evening and sitting down for whatever messages are meant to be delivered. I already attempted to do a video earlier today, but I was in the car and I was kind of on the go, and although I recorded a portion of the video, it just didn't seem like it was really gonna work out for finishing the video. I was running around picking up kids, running errands, and I wanted to finish, but just with lighting and setting and all that, it just didn't make sense. So I figured I'm going to scrap that video, even though it was really good content and had some very profound messages to share with you. It just didn't work out. So I'm here, present, available, open to try it again and see what spirit delivers this time and just let what flows flow. So if you've watched a few of my latest videos, you'll kind of get the feeling and the essence that there's almost repetition in the sense that we're all really going through some stuff. We're going through transitions and changes and new beginnings that are really preparing us for better placement, better grounding, better foundations of the abundance, the rewards that we will be receiving. A few days ago, or a few videos ago, I had mentioned that I was just in the mood to kind of curl up and read a book and sort of just be done with reality as I know it and sort of just drift off into a bit of a like fantasy world of escape. But instead of doing that, I was able to sit down and actually watch a movie for the first time on Netflix. I usually don't get a chance to watch anything new, but I did finally get a chance to sit down and just throw something on. Now, I didn't really look too hard. I didn't want to get caught up in like searching because I'm kind of indecisive when it comes to movies, and I just didn't want to get caught up in the spend half an hour looking for a movie and still can't decide. So I literally just picked the first thing that had popped up, and ironically it was a movie that I didn't even really fully look at the title of. I just saw Robin Williams' face, and because I had been going through these like swells and these emotions and these like really kind of guarded emotions of sadness almost. Like I even said in one of my videos that I felt like I was just embodying this mood, this I don't want to say depression or anything, but I really felt like there was some of us that are really going through some things, and I really felt like I was embodying that mood. And so when I happened to look at Netflix and I saw this image of Robin Williams come up, it immediately brought to mind the fact that, rest in love, he had committed suicide some years back. He was obviously battling some interpersonal issues with mental health, anxiety, depression. Ultimately, he had succumbed to those issues, unfortunately. So I didn't really read the title. I just saw that it was a movie made in 1998. That already flooded like the nostalgic mindset that I was in. You know, 90s kid right here. And then I guess Netflix, they start to play like a trailer or whatnot to kind of give a preview of the movie. So I watched a bit of that and decided, okay, I'm going to give this a shot, because regardless, I already had the image in mind of Robin Williams, not in his comical acting sense, but in his more like serious roles. You know, I think, wasn't he in like Good Will Hunting, or I don't know. I'd never seen this movie. I honestly only saw Dreams Something Come, and I just clicked on it and started watching it. Now, let me tell you, this movie, oh my gosh, my type of movie for sure. But it definitely brought back a conversation that I had with a former friend some years back when we were discussing life and, you know, where we go afterwards, and my belief in reincarnation, and just the essence of really transitioning into a realm that is just beyond our sight, just beyond our physical vision. And I remember us talking about that. We used to have a lot of like random deep conversations, but yeah, this former friend had recommended this movie, and so as I started to watch the movie and get a little further, I was like, wait a minute. I think this is the movie that she had recommended years back, but I never had gotten a chance to see it. So just in the way that everything has been playing out this week, just in the way that, like, literally I've been embodying, I've been feeling the collective energies of like some heavy, some full lessons, some very sad, overwhelming energies. It definitely just made sense that this movie would pop up, you know? Yeah, it just made sense. So I don't know if I really want to like spoil the movie in case you guys haven't seen it, but I'll put an image up somewhere on the screen so that you guys can see if it's something that you have watched before, or you can go check it out if you're interested. But this was just, oh my gosh, it had made me cry in certain parts, but it was definitely a movie that touched, triggered on the senses and the downloads that were just coming in, because the movie itself touched on so many aspects of our spiritual consciousness and our relationship with self, with loved ones, the whole aspect of death and where our spirit rises to after death, and just our manifestations of thought in the physical world and then in the spiritual world. It touched on soulmate, the essence of soulmates. It was a very complex but very understandable movie. It touched on a lot of aspects that I think would appeal to anyone who has basic or a more complex, more elevated understanding or overstanding of those themes. But yeah, it was just, I would definitely recommend it. What Dreams May Come. There was a point in the movie that I believe when I was shuffling this particular deck, this Lantern Oracle deck, a few videos back, I forget what card it was, but it had summoned up this imagery in my mind, and I had spoken on it, that these are really like rough. I think I had said something like, you know, it's almost an energy like we're near drowning, and like we're going through all of these difficulties and these changes and these waves that are bringing us down, but it's almost like we get washed ashore and we're like, whew, like that was a ride, you know, like that was some bullshit that we're going through. The imagery that I had in my head was dark, was very like water energy, was very soaked in depression and in overwhelming anxiety, to the point where you almost surrender to that. And that's why I had spoken with that metaphor that it's almost like we almost drowned, but then we got washed ashore. There was a scene in the movie that kind of played on that, and I was just tripping. I don't know, I was just tripping. I just feel like that was necessary to mention, because I feel like, stemming off of that movie, I just want to sort of open up to the messages from Divine that will use that kind of as a focal point, because that is where my energy and space has been on. So yeah, let's just see what Spirit has to say for us today. Inner life. Your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. Look at the inner life, the solar plexus energy, the divine universal spirit that we hold within ourselves. This movie definitely touched on the wisdom. You know, you see the age in her face. You see the wisdom of universal law around her and within her. And we are sort of the middle ground that lies beneath the above and the below. And you see how she's sort of in a meditative pose. This movie really just brought the fact that there's such a thin line between the physical realm and the spiritual. And really, the essence of the movie was What Dreams May Come, was the fact that we paint the picture of our reality in the physical world as well as in the spiritual world. We are the creators. As it says, your inner life is a garden to be cultivated. You know, we are the gardeners, we are the painters, we are the manifestors of the realities that our spirit lives. I just recommend that you guys go check out the movie. I think it would be a nice a nice break from the kind of bullshit that's always out there on the TV or on, you know, networks nowadays. And again, so we have the inner life, the universal spirit beyond us and within us. And we got spirit self. Card number 1, your essence, your focal point. Be who you are as you are. Embrace who you are as you are. Wow. We have the card emptied. Oh my gosh. The ending and beginning lie at either side of the same door. This is what I mean. Like, it's the thin line between our physical reality and our spiritual. We're right in the center. And this touches on so many aspects of the movie itself, because Robin Williams' character is a husband and a father who, I think it focuses more on the soulmate aspect that he shares, the soulmate connection that he shares with his wife, that kind of overrides the ability to truly connect and bond with his children. He really loves his children, but he's so focused on his wife, who they kind of touch on the fact that she, I know at one point in the movie, she suffers a mental breakdown as a result of a tragic loss they both experienced. But before that, it's kind of like a little vague whether or not she just had some mental health issues. Now, in my opinion, I've always said, like, mental health issues, it's kind of hard to talk about if you've never gone through anything. But for me, I'm like, I hate when people, you know, try to say that, you know, if you suffer from certain things, that you're crazy, or like you're all the way the fuck out there. I just feel like the reality that is seen, the truth that is seen by people who have a mental illness or who are suffering in any way from psychological, mental downloads, I'd like to say. I just feel like they see reality with way more insight that is so hard to really explain to someone who is just in this cookie cutter box of a mind state or a mental space. You know, we live in a universe so vast that to just rationalize things in such a way that it's literally confined to a little tiny understanding of it is just bizarre to me, and that in and of itself is crazy. So to call someone who has this expansive understanding, or who is seeing things, even if they don't want to, in a way that's beyond what the average person sees, it's just very insensitive and selfish to call them crazy for that. But I say all of that because in the movie, it does play on the fact that she's going through a lot of trauma that triggers a mental breakdown. And this is the space of her head, of her spirit, especially after she faces this tragedy, which then results in another tragedy she experiences, where her husband dies. So the majority of the movie is actually from the perspective of afterlife. So it touches on, you know, where we go after we die, the connections that we have with our loved ones, and just, it plays off of that heaven and hell reality and what it is. And yeah, this is a space that she was in where she just felt completely emptied after she faced so much loss. So it's just really interesting that we got this card. Man, I can talk forever. I know, you guys, I'm so sorry, but like, this is kind of why I have this channel, is just so I can kind of just get things off my chest, off my mind, and be able to kind of verbalize without really having to feel shamed about that around people that just don't get me, you know? Ooh, mahalo. So, distorted perceptions. I'm telling you, this is literally, if you guys watch the movie, you'll understand why this image is so relatable to the movie, because the wife who is experiencing this loss, this emptiness of soul, which I didn't mention, but you see how the light within is in her womb space. Symbolically, that reminds me she has children with Robin Williams' character, and she experiences a loss with that, with her motherhood. And I feel like even when we are at our lowest point, even when we are in our darkest state and we feel just completely empty and ready to give up and ready to just surrender our soul to dark, that womb space is a creative space, like she was in her job title as she was a painter in the movie. So the creativity in the physical sense of what she did for a living, and the creativity that we hold as divine feminines within our womb space, is the hope that we hold, the seed that we hold within our sacral chakras, within our sacral energy center, to continue to paint the color of hope and abundance into our lives. We have the power to color our lives with beauty, hope, courage, prosperity, anything that we really desire. But I looked at this card and I saw, some of the imagery in the movie was like these blurred, painted images, because it was literally blurred lines between Robin Williams and his wife's life together when he was alive, and the life that he had painted after death, that was colorful and happy and just heaven in a sense. But this card itself represents distorted perceptions. Reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. So that's just to be mindful of the reality that you paint in your mind, because it will come to fruition of the truth that you live. If that makes any sense. I feel like I'm kind of straddling, I'm trying to like hop between the mental pictures that I have of the movie, but again, I just recommend you guys go check it out. It is on Netflix. I don't know if it's expired or not. I saw this a few days ago, and this is just kind of the inspo for today, is painting the picture, not giving into distorted perceptions of how our lives are supposed to be. Taking accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and others. Taking accountability for the lessons, for really rising above, transmuting the things that we feel we're emptied by, and allowing this divine light to burgeon, to really blossom within ourselves, and really fill our spirit self with more light and more love. But first, taking accountability for all the things that have to be transmuted from it. Melting mask. Wow. Allow your spirit self to shine through the many roles you fulfill. We spend so much time, and that was another thing in the movie. The wife was a very successful artist, and the husband was a successful doctor. Together, they had a very special bond and union, and I feel we're truly soulmates. But there were aspects, there were dynamics of their life together that could have been improved upon, but unfortunately with his untimely death, it really he really didn't get a chance to do so. And one of those things that I feel was really a driving point in the movie was his bonds, his relationship with his children, recognizing their soul even in the afterlife, without the masks, without the facade. Now the thing is, in the movie, he stressed to his oldest boy and to his daughter like success and staying on top of your grades and really like pushing forth. I notice a lot of, and I'll just say in a lot of Caucasian families, there's this push, there's this drive, this expectation to live, up to these standards. It's really pushed how little titles and all of that matter, how little validation from external sources and accolades and accomplishments matter. Because at the end of the day, when we are no longer here in the physical sense, you might not even be able to recognize that person on the other side, if you don't know their spirit. And so it's important now, it's important in this realm to really show, to really take accountability for your inner life, your spirit self, right? To take accountability for the darknesses that make you feel completely emptied. Take accountability for the distorted perceptions that shape your life, and really shed those illusions and distortions of character and belief, right? Take off the masks. And this is interesting because when I was driving my kids to school this morning, I was having a conversation with them because I had watched I don't know, this is off topic, but I had watched a YouTube video, you know, how people be doing their My Truth videos, kind of explaining a situation that a lot of viewers or subscribers are curious about, and they just want to kind of get the tea on it. But this particular YouTuber was talking about an ex-partner of hers and just the situation that they were going through, and there were points in her video that made me express to my kids that this is why I'm so glad that the Most High, Most Divine, Source Energy, God, really took control of my life and has guided me into the path, into the life that I have, which ultimately in the beginning, you know, when I was much younger, I really thought that I was going to be an entertainer, was going to be an actress, was going to be somebody you would know, you know, my name, you would know my face. And I really believed that. But there were so many things that came up in my life that sort of diverted my path to motherhood and to regular life. And for a minute, I was a little resentful of the fact that I couldn't get it together to accomplish the things that I thought were meant for me. But, you know, here we are years down the road, and I'm looking 2020 hindsight at a path, at a career that I could have had, that at this point, I don't want that life. So I was talking to them about how so many celebrities that we deem as like troubled or have mental health issues or are derailed, you know, they've derailed their career, they're just really in a bad place. For example, you know, Robin Williams, where he was at, or if we look at celebrities like, you know, Justin Bieber, or celebrities that might be having issues with mental health or body imagery or whatever the case may be, we tend to judge, and we're just like, oh God, girl, like, you at this place, get it together, you have so much to be grateful for, blah, 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 right? But we don't see how devastating, how exposed, how vulnerable some of these individuals are. And to me, I find the ones that are, you know, battling with certain issues to be the realest in this, not all, but most, to be the realest, because they're struggling to really show their true self, but they've got managers, they've got, you know, contracts, they've got endorsements, they've got all of these things, all of these entities, all of these influences pressuring them to keep a certain image, to keep a certain face, a facade, a mask, publicity, you know, a public image. And that's really disabling them from connecting with their spirit self, connecting with their inner life, you know, connecting with who they are. And it really has them in these deep, dark places, driving them because of these distorted perceptions that are fed into their minds. So yeah, I was having this conversation with my kids, and I was like, damn, like, I could never imagine, like, you know, when you read comments and you read like blogs, or you listen to certain news reports about celebrities, and you just see so much negativity and so much of public opinion, and you're like, damn, like, why do we talk that way? Why do we feel the right to project our own nastiness and our own confusion that lies within us onto these people, most of whom are regular people, and get broken down by the things that are said, things are spoken, things that are done to them. And it's only when they don't want to wear the mask that they try to be themselves, and that's when we call them crazy, or they're going through shit, or when they decide to self-medicate and things like that. So anyway, if I'm making any sense at all, It's very important to be true to yourself and to really allow the mask to melt away. Allow your spirit self, literally, spirit self, to shine through the many roles you fulfill in this life. Mahalo, I'm gonna, whoa. So I'm gonna pull one more card. Mahalo. Forgiveness. Damn, that's heavy. Hurt blocks our light. The pain, the hurt, the depression, the sadness, the anxiety, the heaviness of all of the distorted illusions and perceptions that we are being fed into our inner life, that we have to take accountability for, the masks that we wear, all of that pain, all of that confusion, all of that hurt is what blocks our light and blocks us from being our inner selves, our divine selves. I'm going to go ahead and pull from this tarot card. Shoot, I should have shuffled before, but I didn't get a chance to. Hold on. All right, I was getting a call, sorry. Ooh, stuck. So I'm wanting to get a message of light, a message of hope out to you guys. So what can we let ourselves really know? What truth can we really confirm from our current situations? Ooh. Temperance, really coming to terms and balancing this energy. Really knowing that you are in control. You hold the cups. You hold that divine light, that divine star power within you to make sure that you are in alignment and balance and harmony of self. Because you are the high priestess. Hope, hope. This is your time for awakening. Your lessons. Learning your truest self. But remember, taking accountability and really shedding the facade and melting away the masks that is forced on us to wear to uphold these distorted perceptions and illusions and imageries. That is all part of our awakening to self. But we are going to have to go through some shit. We are going to have to go through the challenges. You know, that in a sense is what the movie was talking about, because Robin Williams was a good person. Robin Williams' character was a good person. But there was a line in the movie that really just kind of stuck out and was a pivotal part of the overall understanding and concepts that were being portrayed. And it was, sometimes in winning, you lose. That means even when you think that you're doing the best and you're your best self, the best version of yourself, there's always a sacrifice. There's always something that you might really want, but that is lost to you, that will never be yours. And in this movie, Robin Williams' character dies, and yes, he gets to be in this world of bliss, this heaven that he essentially creates, that he is the painter of. But he wasn't truly happy because he wasn't there with his soulmate, with his wife. And his wife in the physical realm was experiencing this brokenness, right? Her light, you see this lantern? It was like her light had gone out. It was still within her, but she was losing hope. And in him being able to transcend and to transition to the other side and be in this blissful, beautiful place in his heaven, he won. But at the same time, he still lost the most important thing to him. So yeah, we're going to have to go through some things. But essentially, this card is to remind us to have the courage, to have the strength, to really fucking bear the swords with courage to get through. Because we are the Queen of Wands. We essentially have our guides. We essentially have our guides surrounding us, allowing us to really integrate with self, with spirit self, allowing us to really have the energy to get through whatever it is, whatever darkness that needs to be gotten through, right? And we got to remember our forgiveness. Forgive ourselves in order to quit blocking the light. Because the light surrounds us. Even though we might be blinded to it, we are divinely guided by source energy. And all the beauty and all of the reward and all of the fulfillment and the fruition and the manifestation of what we desire is all around us. Because we are High Priestess. We are coming to terms in balance. We are awakening to self. But again, this is a journey of faith and fate. I think I'm going to close it out here because my battery is going to die. But yes, I trust you guys are having a beautiful, blessed, fulfilled day full of divine guidance, love, protection, more lessons of learning, of laughter, of life, light. So yes, I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, love, light, and always aloha.